Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to the Pet Show. Is your beagle behaving a bit bogus? Are you being totally conned by that calico kitten? Does your terrier really need some time on the couch and some therapy? Well, if you love your dogs and cats, I know you do. If you love them, and I know you do, I know you adore them, and you really want to understand, you want to take the time to understand their behavior, I guess almost as well as they understand your behavior. Maybe you're confused about why your dog or cat does certain things. You know, it always bugs the heck out of me when people try to correct their dog or cat. Well, I have no idea why the dog or cat is behaving in a certain way. So if you're confused about why your dog or cat behaves a certain way, we'll take care of that as well. Or if you just want to improve their lifestyle, you've come to the right place. This is America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, pet lifestyle, pet love show. So hop up on my couch. You got that right. Bring those furry, adorable little buddies with you, folks, because it is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is the Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, I've been saying it for 46 years, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect your pets as much as you do. By the way, if you have a question or a comment and want to find out why your dog or cat is behaving a certain way, and it may be strange, I had some really strange. You know, I was on not remote, but I was off the air last week. I was an older show they used. I had some medical stuff that I had to take care of. But I did get a tremendous amount of calls and email this week with some of the most incredible questions and comments and behaviors, and people are really confused. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. But if you have a question or comment about your dog's jumping, humping, digging, scratching, your cat's really driving you nuts, meowing more than ever, getting up in the middle of the night, scratched your favorite chair, looked at the little box, said, no way, Jose. Well, if you have a question about your dog or cat, great time to give me a call. I got some t-shirts to give away. I do have some books to give away. I have some other stuff to give away as well on the show today. So if you have a question or a comment, great time to call me. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752. 870-5752. That is the way to get through. I'm so excited to be back on the air with you. I sound a little bit different because some of the oral dental work I had done this week, and what a pain I would say pain in the butt, but literally a pain in the mouth. So here's the deal. I got some really interesting comments and some really interesting stories coming up on today's show. And I want to have a little bit more time to expand them with you. So it's one of the things we're going to talk about. You know, I hear it every single week. Warren, I take my dog for a walk and he goes crazy. So one of the most common questions, literally one of the most common questions I get asked on the radio here, on my social media, or for years on TV, was how to properly introduce one dog to another. Now, that could be a new dog moving into your home, as many of you know because you've had 10 or 12, or it could just be, I want to take a stroll down the neighborhood with my next door neighbor and their dog. So coming up, I'm going to talk about two things you probably never heard of, unless you're kind of in the profession. One is called parallel walking. Sounds pretty common. It is, but you have to know how to do it. And the other one's something I call treat scattering. Treat scattering can really make a major difference in the world. You know, sometimes the first or second introduction of one dog to another can make all the difference in the world in terms of how your dogs are ultimately going to respond to each other. By the way, we are live on YouTube today, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. So then we can take a look at that. Also coming up, what are the most common conditions? I really did a lot of research on it and tried to figure out what are the most common conditions or reasons for pet guardians, whether it be dog or cat guardians, sending your dog to the vet's office, and what are the approximate costs? So I put together a couple of charts. We'll talk about that later. The most common reasons why people are bringing their dogs and cats to the vet's office, and generally the cost factors I'm going to give you guys are going to sound a little low. This is Los Angeles after all. It's not like we're living in Omaha, but I'll share those with you coming up. I think you're going to be pretty surprised about some of the more common ones as well. And here's one that brought tears to my eyes. I have probably in my lifetime, I don't know, 1,200, 1,300 different dogs I've lived with, if not more, whether it be rescues or fosters on my own. And probably just as many cats dozens of chickens. You know, my two pet pigs, Spotty and Corky, the most amazing guys in the world. My little garter snake that I had for years named Gomer. My 22 rabbits. My 30 cats. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is I've always believed that we love all of our dogs. We love all of our cats as strong as we possibly can. But I also believe that people may only be entitled to one, what I call soul pet. S-O-U-L. Soul pet. So today, how do you know if you found your soul pet? Do you have a soul pet? Have you had a soul pet? Now, you know, when I first started talking about this, people say, that's anthropomorphic soul, blah, blah. Listen to me. There's people you meet throughout life that are great, amazing people. I've met some of them, many of them. But then there's one or two people that are really so incredibly special in terms of changing your life or changing your career or changing whatever. Kind of like soulmates. So would you consider that centric? Or are you kind of with me on this in terms of soul pets that you've had one or perhaps you have one now? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. So also coming up, had an interesting conversation about cats this week. People misunderstand cats so much. Cats really need a good spokesperson. Now, I remember doing a spokesperson tour for cats many years ago with my friend. Remember the amazing Kreskin and the famous chef, what was her name? Cat Cora. Cat Cora, myself, and Kreskin did a major thing in New York City. So the question comes up, do your cats think that you are their parents? Or perhaps, do your cats view you as just other cats? Love to hear from you. Give me a call, 866-870-Kaylie. I encourage you to call because your comments are really what drives other people and makes them start thinking as well. As always, plenty of time for your questions and comments. Giving away a lot of T-shirts on the show. I want more and more of my T-shirts out there. So I'll be giving away T-shirts. I'll be giving away copies of the book. So great time to call me. As always, plenty of time to resolve any issues, housebreaking, jumping, barking, digging, whatever. And the question is pretty simple, guys. Come on, bear me out on this one. Do you have a dog or cat soulmate? Have you ever had a dog or cat soulmate? I'd love to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA. You know, over the years, I've had the opportunity of spending a lot of time with some pretty amazing people. People that I remember spending some time with a guy. I don't even think I told my wife this story. I was at a veterans hospital on Long Island, and the guy was going. He was moving on. He was crossing the Rainbow Bridge, and I was able somehow to sneak a dog in with him. And now you're gonna make me upset. And as the guy's name was Kip. I don't remember the dog, but the guy's name was Kip. And he was a World War II veteran. And as I brought the dog in, and I kind of hustled some of the nurses and worked with them a little bit as well, and I placed him with Kip, first he looked at me, and I felt the most incredible gratitude I've ever felt in my life. But second of all, he looked at the dog, and the dog looked at him. And in that moment in my life, I realized they're just one. They're just one. Different bodies, but they're just one. Amazing story like that. Hey, speaking of stories, the question is, so do you have a soul dog or a soul cat or a soul horse or a soul chicken? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. For the last couple of months, I've been talking about specific situations that I've encountered in my career, both on TV, media, and out in the field, and some of them are funny and some not so funny. But later on today, if we have time, I'm going to tell you about my segment. I did my regular segment on the Today Show. I was their pet authority for, 15, 16 years. And I was sitting on the couch with Katie Couric, Al Roker, Matt Lauer. And Al Roker said, Warren, I want to do this special segment called Relationship Rescue, where there's a couple and they can't figure out how to react with their dog or cat. So we brought them on the air. I'm going to talk about this later, but we brought them on the air. And let me just tell you, I called one of them Mommy Dearest. And man, did the S hit the fan. That's exactly what so I'll talk about that story a little bit later. Have you ever had experiences like that where you knew couples that had a dog or a cat, but they didn't get along, or one person loved the dog or loved the cat a whole lot more? Love to hear from you. Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. The way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. As I said, a few things to give away on the show as well. My mouth feels a lot better. It's been, I think, 7 days now, but I got to tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy. All right, so how about we start with a phone call? How about we go to Eagle Rock, right around the corner from Glendale. So let's go to my friend Monica. Hey, Monica. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi.
Hi. Hey, Monica.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a puppy. He's a rescue. He's really cute. He's about a little bit over a year and a half, but he cries a lot, and I don't know, like, he's not hurt, he's not hungry or anything. He just cries.
Yeah, let me start, Monica. Yeah, first of all, thank you for rescuing this dog. How old was he when you got him?
A year and a half. I mean, not a year and a half, half a year.
Are you about a year old?
No, I got him when he was only like half a year old. So he
was about 6 months old. Okay. And do you know anything about his background? Was he with other dogs, other litter, anything at all?
No, he was by himself, and most of the time he was with people that were drug addicts, and they were doing.
Yeah. Okay. So so here's my feeling. And I'm really going to put you on the couch with the dog right now. I don't often do this, but you guys are on the couch with me, so bear me out. This is what I do professionally, or I did professionally for so many years. It's my honestly opinion, and very often the homeless people, they'll have a litter of puppies, and one person will take a puppy for $5, whatever. It should all be stopped. But anyway, that's what happens. So these puppies are often separated from their litter mates just almost at that neonate imprint stage, which is the first 2 stages that puppies go through. So when they're going through those stages, those neonatal and imprint stages, one of the ways the puppies react to each other is by whining and crying and making noises. Also, one of the ways they react with their mother. So it's just like the kid who sucks their thumb when they're 12, 13 years old. Very often, the psychology of crying is kind of, especially with a dog like this, is kind of like a rallying call. It's kind of like, hey, where's the rest of my team? Even though it's been quite a good amount of time, they learn through association. So it might be something in terms of, well, it's time to eat, so I'm going to cry because we used to eat together. Or it's time to, I don't know, go out and pee. But that's one of the situations I've been dealing with since the homeless situation. God bless so many homeless people. I hope I'm using the right word, but so many homeless people do amazing things with dogs and cats and the crazy rescues and save them. People at Downtown Rescue, they do a lot of work with them as well. But very often it's a matter of dollars and cents. I've actually bought boxes of puppies from grocery stores on Long Island that homeless people were selling. So they're separated too young. They don't get the right nutrition early on. So this is very common. Now, is the crying? You know what? Let me do this. I don't want to rush. I'm going to put you on hold. Let me take a break. Then we'll come right back. And anybody else have a situation with a dog that's crying constantly or whining or want to add into the conversation? You're part of the family now. Come on, give me a call. 866-870-KRLA. Listen, if you're not feeding your dog, you love your dog, you love your cat, right? Of course you do. But if you're not, we are back on the Pet Show on Warren Eckstein. Your cat loves you just as much as you love him, but he probably likes to show it in a different way. Coming up, I'll tell you how your cat expresses their deep love for you, their guardians. But right now, by the way, the number, if you have a question or comment, it's a great time to give me a call. If you want to share a story, I want to hear from some people about whether or not they believe in soul pets or not. It's something I believed in for years. I've heard from so many people. You know, I've talked about my good friend Kreskin and I were very close for a long time, and he always believed that there was something. He was a cat person. Always believed that there was that specialty, and I've had the opportunity of speaking to many people like that. But a lot of people think it's just crazy. It's just a dog, just a cat. They love me, I love them, but that's the end of it. Anyway, the phone number 866-870-KRLA. 866-870-5752 coming up. How I got in trouble for calling someone on the Today Show Mommy Dearest. Let's go back to Monica. Hey, Monica, you still with me? Monica. Oh,
yes,
no,
I'm here.
Okay, so here's the deal. All right, so again, without the situation, now when the dog is crying, is it a soulful cry? Is it a upset, a pain cry? Or is it kind of a cry like, I need something?
Sort of like I need something.
Okay, let me explain. There's two ways to handle this. Most behaviorists and trainers would say you can do it this way. You can correct the dog by going over and saying, no, bad dog, whatever they do. You can totally ignore it, and maybe by some chance it'll go away. Just thinking the other day, some executive once called me, once said, hey, Warren, you know, didn't say it to me specifically, but Warren's very lenient. He's very soft when it comes to his approach to training. Soft, ma'am. I wish you spent a few years in the jungles with me. See how soft I was. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. The reason I bring that up is because I say, leave it alone. Leave it alone. There's something, if it's not pain, if it's not stressful, if it's just a matter of making noise, I say live with it. I mean, maybe it'll stop on its own, but I think correction may make it worse. I don't think he's doing it because he wants to aggravate you. It's just making him feel more confident about himself. And I know in some cases, everyone, you got to train this, you got to train that. You know, I probably train more dogs than anyone out there, but let me tell you, sometimes you just got to let them be a dog. Sometimes you just got to let them be. I would not be overly concerned about that at this point, unless you notice that he's crying a specific time of day, or he's kind of focusing on a specific part of his body. Other than that, I say give him a hug and a kiss, walk away, let him cry a little bit. He'll either get through it, or you put on some headsets. But it's not a matter of being soft. It's a matter of just giving him the opportunity to be him. That's what I want you to do, Monica.
Okay.
Give him a hug and a kiss me, and I really do appreciate that phone call. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Yeah, I remember she did call me. She called me this and said, you know, that guy Warren. In the meantime, all of the people that she works with training dogs are using spike collars, prong collars, shock collars. But Warren was too soft. Yeah, too soft because I looked at it from the dog's point of view as well. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. 866-870-5752. Come on, guys, join me today. I want to find out, you've been listening to the Pet Show, it's 46 years. Denise and I were talking this morning. Am I going to make a record? Am I going to go into Guinness at 50 consecutive years of being on the radio? 50 consecutive? Will I make it? That's 3.5 more years. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I want you to give me a call. Let me know. Do you agree like I am saying right now? You know, a lot of people call me up and say, I want to resolve this and I want to resolve that, which is great, and I'll help you. But do you think it's okay sometimes just to say, you know what? That's a dog. That's what dogs do. Try to understand it from the dog's point of view and just say, you know, I'm so tired of so many trainers and behaviorists and well, everyone's a trainer nowadays, telling people what to do. Correct the dog for this. The dog shouldn't be doing this. Don't let him dig holes. Don't let him do that. You know what? So much control creates more behavioral issues than anything else. It really does make all the difference in the world. Anyway, let me get back to this. These are ways, if you live with a cat, if you're lucky enough to live with a cat, here are some of the ways a cat shows he loves you. Purring is one way. Meowing is another way. Rolling around is another way. Rubbing against you, kneading, tail wagging, licking, and playing. If your cat does that, you're in good shape. May not be your soulmate, but at least you know that he's letting you know how much he loves you. 866-870-KRLA. I want to get back to this, and this is kind of real important. I will talk about it maybe a little bit later. But literally, if you listen to the radio show, for years, people would call me and say, and still do, constantly say, Warren, you know, I'd love to go for a walk with the other dogs in the neighborhood, but for some reason, my dog just won't let that happen. So, first of all, and let me just start, I'm going to go throughout this little bits by the show because there's more to it. And this is something I put together for my YouTube. So if you're not subscribing, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, get over there and subscribe. It's free. Most important thing that you can do is introduce your dog to a new dog. And it's really important to choose the location properly. Neutral territory is by far best for the first meeting. This prevents your dog from feeling territorial and allows both dogs to access each other without resource. And this is what I mean. If you're introducing a new dog into your home situation, your dog's there, it's his toys, it's his games, it's his food, it's his space. So to take that dog into that environment right off the bat, you're creating a situation. Not all dogs have this a resource guarding, but everyone wants to protect their stuff. So introducing where one dog lives is not always a great idea. So picking location is really, really important. A neutral location is critical. Also, one of the things I recommend is if you have a neutral territory where you're going to be introducing the dogs to each other, and this is something no one else talks about, it's what I call a sniff spot, a sniff location. Take them to an area that stinks. There's all kinds of smells, possum, skunk, God knows what smells. Take them to an area, or both of the dogs to an area where there's a lot of smells. This way they're not as focused on each other as all the different scents in the area. Distraction is one of the best ways. We're going to go further into it a little bit later, what parallel walking is all about. But by the end of the day, if you follow my instructions, and remember, I trained for many, many years in New York City, where I'd be walking next to, 50, 60 dogs at one time, and they all didn't love each other, but they all had to walk with each other. These are the methods I used, and I'm going to share these with you coming up in a little bit. 866-870-KRLA. So no one's going to respond to me, huh? Okay, guys. Maybe I'm the only one that has a soul dog or a soul cat or a soul pig or a soul chicken. Does nobody else have lived with or been with a dog or a cat that they consider their soulmate? You loved all your dogs. You loved all your cats. But has no one had that one special, what's the right word, Warren? Come on. That one special, I want to say bond, but it's more than a bond, that symbiotic, big word for Warren, that symbiotic relationship. Give me a call. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I want to hear from people who've had that opportunity to have that one relationship. I told you about the guy at the Veterans Hospital on Long Island. I think it was in Riverhead many, many years ago. And as he passed on, you know, and I was there when he did pass on, it's almost like he passed on not happy, not smiling, but comfortable. And there's another word I can't think of. Comfortable and fulfilled. Man, if we could all pass on like that, what a life this would be. Let me take a quick break. When we come back, Joan and Van Nuys will stop your cat from peeing on the sofa, I promise. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Doctor. Hey, we are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Great time to call me, 866-870-KRLA. Joan, I'm going to get to you. Lena, I'm going to get to you. Helena, I'm going to get to you. And Janet, I'm going to get to you. But this soul pet topic has really been on my mind for a little bit, for a couple of different reasons. I'm not going to get into it. But so let me tell you what I've been writing. Take me a sentence, a paragraph, and see if you if it helps you understand maybe where this eccentric guy Warren is coming from. So I titled this, What is a Soul Pet? And how do you know if you found yours? Thousands of people who've experienced this bond refer to their pet as their soul pet. Like a soul mate, a soul pet involves the belief that a specific animal is destined to be in someone's life based on their intense emotional connection. A soul pet might be able to understand what you need in return even when you don't use words. Many dogs can also sense their owner's sadness or depression and respond by resting their heads on their lap or just sitting beside them. This simple act has the power to create a deep and emotional connection, converting a regular pet into a soul pet. And this is the part that really got to me when I was writing it. And I'll put this up on YouTube as well. God, I've been crying on every show the last couple of weeks. Stop it, Warren. Stop it. Some pets simply can never be replaced because of the heart scars they leave behind. Sometimes a specific human-animal bond is so deep that it could only happen once in a lifetime. But here's the line. Some pets simply cannot be replaced because of the heart scars they leave behind. Many heart scars for many pets. Not only have I saved thousands of their lives, but they've saved my life so many times as well. So that's what I think a soul pet is. I'd love to hear from you guys as well. And that's what the show's about. Besides, I'm going to stop some cats from peeing and jumping and humping, but that's what this show's all about. It's all about the emotional relationship that we have with our pets. And everyone talks about, it's a dog, it's the cat, do this, trainers say do that. But this is about the relationship. It's a relationship show. Kind of like Dr. Phil for pets. Someone once called me that, by the way. All right, so let's go to Joan in Van Nuys. Hi, Joan in Van Nuys.
Hi. I adopted this 15-year-old cat from...
God bless you. I already love you. Adopted a 15-year-old cat? You're on my good list.
Yes, but in December. And just recently, she started peeing on the sofa. And I did what you suggested for dogs. I put a bowl of food there.
Yeah.
And she peed in the bowl and on the plastic again. So this is a new behavior, and I'm wondering, what can I do?
Well, there's a couple of things. She's 15 now or older?
Yes.
No, you adopted her at 15. How long have you had her?
Since December.
Okay, so she's 15, 16. Okay. Basically, at this stage of the game, there's a lot of things taking place here. I'm going to give you some other ideas. But it also could be just a little bit of the concept that kitty dementia or a form of Alzheimer's or cognitive issues are coming into play as well. My next question to you is, how much time do you spend on the sofa where the cat has been peeing?
From 5 o'clock till about 10 o'clock. But she's afraid of my other cat, so she has not gone into the other sections of the house. So he once in a while will come here, and she runs away from him. But during the day, she stays in there, and I'm in the rest of the house.
Okay, and so how far is the litter box from where she's peeing?
Oh, about 10 feet.
Okay. Now, do you know if she was an indoor cat or an outdoor cat before you adopted her?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's very possible she was an outdoor cat, but you've only had her a few months, and this is something that started new. Right off the bat, the first thing I would recommend is making sure that there's no urinary tract or urinary problems. That's number one. Number two, go ahead.
She did have a bladder infection.
How long ago?
2 months. But
okay, so here, no. Yeah, I understand I understand she's cured and the infection may be gone, but the psychological effects of the infection aren't gone. If it hurt her going in the litter box even a few times, that's enough to create the problem that you're running into right now. I would go out, I would get an entirely different litter box at this point, put it maybe a few feet away. It sounds to me, and this is why I want to spend time with you people, it sounds to me like because of the infection she had, it probably hurt her when she went into the litter box. So she went out of the litter box with the fear of the other cat, went back onto an area, peed in that area, and that's where that's where her comfort peeing is now. So I would try another litter box. Also, what you may want to try as well is just putting some aluminum foil in that area, just to let her know that's not the place to go, but give her other high place there. I really think now if you put down that second litter box, I think that might be beneficial. I think she's associating the other litter box with pain, and sometimes she's just not going to use it. And also make sure you clean up thoroughly with a good enzymatic cleaner. I cannot tell you how much I adore you right off the bat, Joan, for taking this on. We will resolve this. If it doesn't happen this week, there's a million things in my little bag here. But let's start somewhere so at least I can move a little bit. Spend more time with her there, her toys there, her treats there. Not a bowl of food anymore. I don't want that there. Just maybe one or two of her treats there. Sit there with her, talk to her, groom her there, massage, whatever you need to do. That second litter box goes down. Give me a call in a week or so. We'll see where you are.
Okay.
And bless you, and bless you again. I really, really, I have the greatest listeners in the world. I really do. I'm going to have to take a break. But Lena, I want to get back to you. And then Helene, we're going to get to you. Helene, I don't know if I want to take you, Helene. Yo, Helene's from New Jersey. And we get Janet from Wellington. I got a couple of open lines, 866-870-KRLA, 870-5752. Still want to hear some more people about soul pets. And if we have time, people have been asking me, and I'm going to do a video on this as well, doing a Today Show segment several years ago, and you could see who was the host, is Katie Couric. Al Roker. I've known Al Roker since he was a weatherman in Cleveland. And Matt Lauer, who I kind of grew up with. He was 16 years old doing shows when I was doing them. And they asked me to do a relationship rescue. I guess they heard about couples that were about to break up or couldn't get together based on the fact that one loved the dog or cat, one hated the dog or cat. So we did a segment on it, and it was kind of interesting, and I'll tell you about it later. But I got into a little trouble when I called one of the participants Mommy Dearest. She was. Mommy Dearest. Take it from me. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. A quick break, then right back to your phone calls. Hey, listen. If there's one product. Hey, we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Let me, I'm going to hear from more soul people, but let me get back to the phones right now. Let's go to my friend, Lena in Sun Valley. Hi, Lena. Welcome to the show.
Oh, a pleasure to talk to you. I'm a fellow New Yorker also.
Where about? New York City? New York City?
Yeah, from Brooklyn.
All right. Everyone's from Brooklyn. Go ahead.
And then from Long Island also.
Long Island? Don't tell me. Now you're in my hometown. Where on Long Island?
Farmingdale.
Farmingdale University. I used to lecture on animal behavior at Farmingdale University.
Really? Oh, wonderful.
And
so
across the street.
To hear you again.
And across the street was an amusement park called Adventureland.
Right. Adventureland.
I trained the owner's dog. Anyway, I understand.
I appreciate you talking to me, Jack. I had a cat for almost 8 years, and she was a beautiful fur cat. I don't know the breed, but we lost her. She was a soul cat to us in the family.
I'm so sorry.
And I just was wondering, do you have a book out about grief when you lose?
I don't have a book out specifically on grief, but in my cat book, towards the end, I do write a little bit of piece on that. So I'll send you a cat book before we hang up. But more important than that,
because I said I have 2 more in the house right now.
Yeah. Do you have access or to a computer?
Well, yeah, my sons would have to do all that for me.
Tell your son to go to my website, thepetshow.com. Thepetshow.com. Okay.
Right.
When he's at the website, there's a section called the Ever After section. Parts of it were written by Ever After. Parts of it were written by me, and there are literally hundreds of poems and letters and stories from listeners just like you from the last 45 years, and I think it will help you get through this a lot easier. So have your son go to thepetshow.com. It's all one word, thepetshow.com, and basically he can look for the Ever After section. But in the meantime, I'm going to move on, but in the meantime, I'm going to put you on hold, and we're going to have the lovely Suzette pick up. I'm going to send you a copy of how to get your cat to do what you want. There's a great chapter, both in the dog and cat book, great chapter specifically on what to do when your dog or cat crosses that rainbow. Do I have the most amazing listeners? I really, really do. It's interesting because you all know by now, right after I get up there here, I do my National Canadian Armed Forces Radio America show, right? And it's animal lovers, animal people all over the world are the most, if the world was simply made up of my listeners, it'd be the perfect world. Perfect world. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number 866-870-5752. Let's go to Helene in Helena, New Jersey. Hi, Helene. Is it Helene or Helena?
Warren,
Hi.
I certainly hope you feel better as soon as you can. It's a pleasure to talk to you again. And I'm calling to say, when it comes to soulmates, I must borrow your quote from my very favorite T-shirt when it comes to soulmates. None of my soulmates walk upright.
You're absolutely right.
I can tell you stories that would fill both of your shows. Animals are just amazing that way.
Yeah, you're absolutely
right. And you,
right.
out of all the humans I've ever met, well, I never met you in person, but I've known you a long time. You are the most amazing human animal I've ever known.
Well, bless you for saying that.
I love you, Warren.
Listen, I love.
Amazing.
And you're pretty amazing too. Come on now, my head's getting bigger. So, do you have one of those T-shirts?
Yes, I do, and I love to wear it. I wear it every chance I get.
I am so proud. I'm so glad that you called today, and what you said made a lot of sense. And maybe sooner or later I'll make it back to the East Coast. I haven't been in New Jersey. God, I remember hanging out. My Jersey was my hangout. The Jersey Shore, Monmouth County, Monmouth University. Oh God. Anyway, Helene, I got to move on. But go ahead. I'm not rushing you. Go ahead.
Well, no, actually, I'm from Little Philadelphia. I'm right across the river. I'm from Philadelphia, as a native Philadelphian.
Right over the Ben Franklin Bridge.
Exactly.
I used to do.
It's a little piece of heaven here, and I hope it stays that way.
I hope so. I hope so too.
Because you're helping people with animals.
Thank you. I got to move on, but thank you. Thank you so much, and you're absolutely right. It is a little piece of it is a little piece of heaven there. Guys are gonna bring tears to my eyes. It's been a long time. We've been doing the show a long time. We're not going anywhere. As long as this surgery in my mouth heals up, we are not going anywhere. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number 866-870-5752. Let me take a quick break. We'll get back to your calls. We've got a whole other hour to go. And yeah, I'm going to tell the story about how I got in trouble for calling someone Mommy Dearest on the Today Show. Of all the TV shows I did, people say, which was the toughest? Well, I was the creature keeper on the Mickey Mouse Club for many years. That was pretty tough, because they tried to make me dance around and sing, why? Because we like you. And I'm not if anyone knows me, I'm not a dancer, but anyway, I did it. I have videos somewhere. I'll post them. I think they're on my YouTube channel of me dancing around saying, why? Because we like you. But I'm also, of all the TV shows I've done, probably the most difficult in terms of segments was the Today Show, because you had 2, 3, sometimes 4 different hosts coming from all different directions at you. But this was an interesting segment. Relationship rescue. By the way, if anyone out there is having a situation with their girlfriend, their boyfriend, their mother, their father, in terms of the relationship based on an issue with their dog or cat, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you guys as well. 866-870-KRLA. I don't go anywhere. Janet, Tom, we got an open line or two, 866-870-KRLA. Let me take a quick break before Alex throws something at me. We'll get back to your calls right after this. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is another great song by a Long Islander. Hey, we are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Let me do this. I'm going to go to Janet, Kaylie, and Tom. If I don't get to you, we're only going to break for a couple of minutes after the top of the hour, so we got a whole other hour to go. So don't go anywhere. But let me go to Janet right now. Hey, Janet, how you doing?
Hey, I'm fine. Thanks for taking my call. I wanted to call in about my soul cat, Sparky. I was lucky enough to have him for 9 years. He was born in my garage, And he was I call him my gateway cat. I'd never had a cat before, but he really opened my heart to the feline world. He would bring me gifts. For a while, he was an indoor-outdoor until I figured out that was dangerous. But he would bring me mouse heads, mouse tails. He loved to play ball like a dog. He brought me a selection of balls in all sizes from all around the neighborhood. And he was just a wonderful guy. He would sit with me. He would sleep with me. And as I say, he was my gateway cat. Since his passing, I adopted a feline family that moved under my house and had kittens. And so now I have a cat for every day of the week.
So, but what he did, because as you said, you did not live with cats before this. So what he did is he actually not only was your soul cat, but he was like your guide into the cat world. And now, because of the relationship you established with him or her, you're able to save these other cats.
Absolutely. I was a dog person. I had multiple dogs, 25, and all of a sudden, I'm a cat lady.
Yeah, well, it's cats are kind of interesting. First of all, they let us live with them. We have to understand that it's their world.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. But so many people misunderstand cats. And when I wrote my cat book, How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want, it kind of was. People were, I did segments on Letterman, and the dog was nuts. Come on, you can educate cats, you can teach a cat the cats and feel this. Well, you know what? People are coming around to my way of thinking, Janet, and it's because people that have the opportunity to really experience what it's like being around a cat makes all the difference in the world. So,
They're
Janet,
amazing, and I love all the work that you do with all of the animals.
Well, thank you, Janet. Would it be okay if I sent you a copy of my cat book?
That would be lovely. I would really appreciate that.
I would love. Well, I appreciate what you do. So don't go in there. I'm going to put you on hold. The lovely Suzette. If you guys know how lovely. So you talk to Suzette every week. The lovely Suzette's going to pick up. We'll get your name and address and a copy of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want. We'll be on. So we're going to break for the top of the hour. Tom, Kaylie will be my first two calls. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. Also, I want to know whether or not you've lived with a soul pet, have a soul pet, or have had one. Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is You Love Your Dogs and Cats and just want to find out why they behave the way they do, or maybe you have a specific question about their jumping, humping, or digging, some issue that you may be having or with them or vice versa. Great time to give me a call. That's what we do here on The Pet Show. We talk about everything animals, primarily resolving issues, helping you understand your dogs and cats better than you do, and making the relationship even better than it already is. We love and we adore them, but sometimes they drive us a little nuts, just like I'm sure we drive them nuts. So as we do, we try to help you cope with your pets. The question of the day here on the show is, do you have a dog or cat soulmate? Or have had one in the past? And people were asking me, texting me about, okay, so you're asking us, what about you, Warren? Did you have a soulmate or a soul dog? And it's really difficult for me to narrow in, and here's why I say that. You all know a lot of my experiences coming back from overseas, and the loss of my wife at a very, very young age, and at that point I had 30 dogs, God knows how many cats, chickens, ducks, pigs, rescued, whatever. And I also had Tig. Tig was the dog that I trained for the Buster Brown Company. Remember Buster Brown Shoes? I live in a shoe. This is my friend Tig. He lives there too. Well, I trained Tig for the company. And Faye and I traveled all over, from Puerto Rico, all over, with Tig, talking about Buster Brown Shoes. And when Faye died, I was on Long Island, and my other animals were at my sanctuary up in Cobblestone, New York, and Tig was with me 24/7. And so, he got me through one of the most difficult times I've ever had in my life. Remember, now I've known Faye since she was 12 years old. And it's like not just Tig, but every one of the dozens of guardian angel pets I lived with at that time have all kinds. It's like they had a conference. They said, listen, we know Warren's in trouble again. It's not the first time. We got to get him through this. We got to get him through. It's like they had a conference and said, what can we do? So as eccentric as this may sound to a lot of people out there, I believe that somehow, some way, they knew what they had to do, and each in their own way got me through this. So if you ask me about a specific soul dog or soul cat or soul pig or soul chicken, I must be the luckiest person that ever lived, because I've had more than one. But what about you? Soul dog, soul cat. Give me a call. Let me know. I want to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA. Just before I get to you, Tom, you'll be up next, then Kelly and then David. I'm going to stress this again today in the next couple of weeks. There's going to be some changes made. Nothing here. But I'm going to be doing a lot more work, a lot more pod stuff on my YouTube channel. So if you're not there, if you're not subscribing to the YouTube channel, go there. I haven't posted anything for a week or so because I've been ill, but I'll be posting like crazy the next few weeks. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free. That is youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. There's some great videos. I think if you're a good researcher, you'll probably actually find a picture of me dancing with the Musketeers, but don't look too far, okay? The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I'm telling you, subscribe. There's going to be a lot of changes there. You're not going to want to miss out. You want to get there now. But right now, speaking of now, let's go to Tom in Los Angeles. Hey, Tom, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. Good afternoon, buddy.
How you doing today?
Well, I finally stopped crying after about 10 minutes. Just I wanted to tell you about my dog, Zilla. Zilla, as in Godzilla.
Yeah,
I rescued him in 2016 from a violent situation that he was my next door neighbor's dogs, and they moved out and left their dogs behind.
God.
And one of them had attacked my dog, Zilla. And he wasn't a little boy. He was a St. Bernard and German Shepherd mix, probably about 200 pounds. So I took him in, and the gratitude after he healed, just the gratitude and love that I got from him, Warren, it was incredible, you know.
So, hey, Tom,
yeah.
Tom, let me just stop you for a second, because you said something that's very, very important. So many of the people listening right now, so many have rescued or adopted their pets. And you might be one of the first people that ever said on the air that people say, yeah, my dog appreciated, love, but that the dog actually showed you gratitude and knew exactly what you did.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was incredible. And I, too, happened to be, he was my best friend. I was just getting sober, and I was incredibly lonely. And he came in and became my best friend, Warren. I would say, do you love me? And he would bark at me like an untrained. And he was by my side 24/7, because I'm a combat veteran.
God bless you. As a veteran myself, thank you for your service.
Well, you
Tom.
too. God bless you. Welcome home.
Thank you.
He instinctively picked up on that I'm not a fan of fireworks, So he'd come and lay his head on my lap and everything. I mean, it was great. Yeah, I loved him so much. He was like a roommate because he was so big, But yeah, I didn't have to train him. It's like he instinctively knew and was picking up on, what I was trying to tell him.
So Tom, let me ask you a question.
Yes,
First of all, I'm very familiar with what some of us have to go through, but in terms of the bond, in terms of the soul relationship.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase this. What did you say his name was again?
Zilla.
Zilla, like in Godzilla, right? Zilla.
Yeah.
So Zilla. Let me ask you a question. And this may sound a little strange to people out there, but
okay.
It's not the first time people thought I was strange. Do you believe, Tom, do you believe like I do that Zilla is with you right now?
Yes, absolutely. When I lost him in 2020 during the COVID stuff in June of 2020, I haven't replaced him or really gotten over him yet. The scars you were talking about?
Sure.
But fortunately, we're looking at a house out of Los Angeles with a big, beautiful yard. So one may allow me to come into their life up there, So, But yes, I believe he's here all the time.
And plus the fact that if you get this place, and my fingers are crossed, and you get up there and you rescue a couple of dogs, and just remember what a legacy. What a legacy that is for Zilla. And he's probably watching now and says, "Hey, let's get on it. Come on, Tom. Let's move around a little bit here. Let's move it up." It's just what a great story. Tom, I'm going to send you a T-shirt. How are you doing? In other words, as a combat vet, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm in therapy. I'm still sober. My wife is beautiful, and her mother speak animal. So I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of cats. In fact, I called in previously about my 10 cats because they're addicted. And you sent me on the book on how to get your cats to do what you want, and it's completely helped. I mean, it's a territorial issue we were putting up with, but I'm doing well. I'm excited.
I appreciate it, Tom. And you know what? What a world this would be if there were more people like you. I'm such a big supporter. No, forget about me. Everyone. I'm on this side of the radio, so I could be the biggest jerk in the world, and people can still say, "I love you, Warren. We adore you, Warren. Thank you, Warren." But anyway, for someone like yourself, and I'm such a big fan of veterans, and one of the things I noticed living in Arizona right now is everywhere I go, I'm getting a coin. So everyone's handing me these. I never remember them from my era. But anyway, feel good. I'm going to send you. I know I sent you a book. I'm going to bless you for what you've done. Bless you for your service. I'm so glad it takes a team, and I'm so glad you have your wife and your mother-in-law, and I'm so glad they speak animal, helping you out. And what a great story about Zilla. I'll never forget that name, although I never actually saw the movie Godzilla. But now I'm going to have to watch it. Anyway, Tom, don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to send you a T-shirt that says "None of my friends walk upright," and I really do appreciate that call. You ever wondered why I do this show? You ever wonder why I still do this show? That is why I still do this show. We get, you know what? Let me get to Kaylie. Then I want to share a story with you. Then we'll get to David. We'll get to Madeline. Kaylie, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hey, Warren. How are you?
I am doing a lot better than I was last week. What can I do for you?
Well, Warren, first of all, I'm a longtime listener of you, and you've really helped me out with all of my animals. Last time I called you, I had 2 dogs. I had a senior terrier Chihuahua mix, and then I had a little dachshund mix. And this past December, we had to put the older dog, the Chihuahua mix, down. And I got to say that in the 15 years that I had that dog, I never had my own dog before, but he really did become my best friend. Yeah. And I just want to mention this because I feel like what's happening on the planet right now is that humanity has reached a level of consciousness where we are definitely more in connection with our animals. Like we've somehow developed a sixth sense, and we can tune into them, and they can tune into us without even having to say words. It's like we know when they need something. But I just
it's so interesting. It's so interesting. It's so interesting that you said that, because based on that specific situation, there's no the unspoken word between people and their pets is so much more important than any spoken word that any trainer or behaviorist ever said to a dog or a cat. It's that non-verbal, that I've always said that all living things have a sixth sense. It's inhibited in most people, and I think maybe people are starting, the more time people spend with their pets, maybe it's coming out more. I've always never, ever had any problem whatsoever, and I don't consider myself psychic in any way, shape, or form, but I always have had incredible knowledge and incredible conversations and thoughts silently between all the animals I've lived with.
Yeah, I want to comment on that because, like I mentioned, I just feel like we as human beings have crossed a threshold. You can see how more and more people, just the divine care as their guardian and their caregiver, that they really are giving all of their animals, whatever animal that they own. But I want to mention that with my dog that passed out that we had to put down, I had never had to do anything like that before. But probably about 10 months before he passed over the Rainbow Bridge, he was diagnosed with Cushing's disease, and we were really sad about it. And then at some point, I just told him out loud, I said, listen, we don't know how much time any of us have left, but for however long you have left, let's just have the best time we possibly can have with each other. And so, I don't know, I feel like because I knew that his time might be so limited, I just started stepping up my own game with, maybe instead of taking him for one walk today, I'll take him for 2 walks today. Or just spending a little bit of extra time, giving him more attention. And something happened. Like, all of a sudden, he started getting better. Like, he wasn't really exhibiting any signs of the Cushing's. He had a healthy appetite. He was getting stronger on his walks. He was pooping regularly. Like all the really good vital signs were there. And then it was probably about 10 days before we had to put him down, and I noticed him slowing down considerably. Like, I started seeing signs earlier, like maybe a few months before, where he couldn't hear as well anymore. I would call him when he was outside and he couldn't hear me. He wouldn't come running. And then, I think there was some dementia setting in, but I was definitely seeing signs of arthritis.
All right, I have to run, but I got to ask you the same question I'm asking everyone. Is he still there?
Is he still with me?
Uh-huh. Do you feel the presence every day?
Absolutely. Absolutely, he is still with me. And that last week of his life, the day before we knew we had to go put him down, I took him for a ride in a wagon on his favorite walk with the other dogs. So we did his favorite walk. I saw him taking it all in. And then the next day when we had to put him down, one of the favorite things he used to love to do with us is Friday nights were our movie and pizza night, and he would really get in on it. He would love it. He would sit in the middle of us and
sure. There's nothing like a good pizza bone. Nothing like a good pizza bone. Come on now. Hey, Kaylie, I got to jump out here, but I want you to call me back because it's such a great story. Give me a call back. I will spend some more time, but I got to move on now because if I don't, Alex is going to throw something.
I just wanted to relay that story.
It was a great story, and I think that other people probably are learning exactly from that. Let me take a quick break. We'll get back to David and Madeline. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Well, you're listening to The Pet Show, right? You hear all these people telling everyone how much they love their dogs and love their cats. Well, you do love them, right? And if you love them, you want to make sure they're getting the best nutrition possible. What is the best nutrition possible? I'm telling you what it is. Lucy Pet Formulas for Life Pet Food. Pet Show, I'm Warren Eckstein. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. So we got plenty of time for your questions and comments. God, there's only so many topics I wanted to talk about today. I'm not going to get to them all. Let me just kind of run this quickly by you. I opened up by talking about things that people call me often about. How can I get my dogs to get along, or how can I get my neighbor's dog to go for a walk with my dog? Parallel walking is probably the best way to approach this. Now, parallel walking is distance where the dogs notice each other, but they remain relaxed. That's where you start out. And even though you're walking in a parallel situation, one dog's going to get ahead. Don't let that happen for too long. Then let the other dog get ahead. Take them to an area, as I said earlier, that is smell infested. So there's all kinds of odors there. And little by little, as they start spending less and less time focused on each other, you can get closer and closer. Let them stop. Let them sniff each other's poop where the other dog is gone. That's all going to make a difference. Reward calm behavior with praise, treats if you want to, and gradually decrease the distance as they show positive interest without signs of fear or aggression. We'll give you some more tips in the future, but that's a good start for you as well. Excuse me, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me just say one more thing, and then I'm going to get to you, David and Madeline. You're going to hear a lot of me talking about my Hugs and Kisses AnimalFund.org. You hear me talk about great organizations that I really totally want you to support. Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund's a little different. Well, my Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund is, it's a 501c3. I started after my first wife, Faye, passed away in 1990. Basically, we try to fund, with small amounts of money, to hundreds and hundreds of small mom-and-pop animal rescues all across the country. The people have no money coming in, nobody PR, no rescue. They've been begging for my help, and for years we've been helping them, but now I need your help. I don't often ask for it. I want you to go to the website, hugsandkissesanimalfund.org, 501c3 nonprofit. Every penny, when I say every penny, you know me, every penny goes directly to the animals. All expenses come out of my pocket personally. I need your help. These small mom and pops are overwhelmed, from Kentucky to Arkansas to New Hampshire to Maine to Northern California to Oregon to Tennessee, all over the country. These are the people we help that no one else knows about. Help me if you can. Go to the website, hugsandkissesanimalfund.org. Donate if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Let me get back to the phone lines here. Let's go to my friend David in Irvine. Hi, David. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren. I'm sad that Tommy and Zillow made me cry. But let's move on to a real problem. At the dog park I go to, there's a new dog, been coming here for a month. Her name is Penny. And the thing is, she's hostile to new dogs in that park. Apparently, she doesn't care if she's in a park with a lot of other dogs, like the Huntington Beach Park. But apparently, this dog has identified this park that she's been coming with as her park, and she can snap and get upset at dogs she's never met before.
I was just going to say, what color bandana is she wearing? A red one or a blue one? She's in her hood, and she's taking over her hood. It's interesting. I'm not the great. I mean, there's some great dog parks. Hunting, great one. There's some great ones, but there's some other dog parks that I'm not so thrilled about because there's no control there. So one of the things I recommend when someone has a more assertive dog at a dog park, it's the responsibility of that guardian or the other people at the dog park to sit down and have a conversation and say, this dog park is a community dog park. Your dog seems to be overly assertive when a new dog comes in. So if I'm bringing a dog or if someone's coming in with a new dog at first, would it be okay if you took 5 or 10 minutes with me and just kind of want to walk in a different direction away from the dog park, just so the dog that's the more assertive dog is not feeling as aggressive? That may be all that you need at this point, but it's not uncommon. For example, there's a dog park right in the neighborhood I live in. As I say, I don't go to my dog park, but there's one for big dogs, one for little dogs. And I watched them run around, and all the dogs are getting along, and everyone loves each other. But then all of a sudden, a new dog comes in, and it's like they've been invaded. And so one of the things is, if they know they have that type of dog that's behaving that type of way, the best thing they can do, if they really want to establish more of a community park, is give that dog the opportunity, maybe for a few minutes, to get to know the new dog that's coming. And I think that's the best resolution, because any correction is just going to make the situation worse. Oh, did we lose you?
Okay, I'll try to tell the owner that.
So in other words, you go to the dog park with your dog?
Yeah, it's totally cool.
Okay, and so the other dogs at the dog park are cool with your dog?
Oh, yeah. It's this guy who's been coming here, and he's a nice guy, and he's been coming here maybe a month, maybe 2 months, but his dog has this thing where if he sees a dog he doesn't know, he's going to be aggressive briefly.
And it could be briefly, but it could be briefly, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be briefly. What if another dog comes in that's just as assertive as he is? Then it might not be so briefly. So I'd rather he take I know it's a pain in the butt. Give him that recommendation. See if he'll do it. He sounds like a good guy, and we'll see what happens. Give me a call back and let me know, though, will you?
You're saying to do what? Take him to another park, or
no? Just take him. No. When a new dog's about to come in, if he can just kind of bring his dog to introduce that new dog outside of the dog park.
Got it.
That's what I want you to do.
Got it.
Give me a call back and let me know, and tell everyone in Huntington Park how much I adore them. God, I miss that. I miss the parts of, I'm living in Arizona, and I moved from Santa Monica, and there's parts I miss, and Huntington Beach is one of them. Great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. Got some open lines, pretty rare, 866-870-5752. Have you ever lived with a dog or cat that you considered your soulmate, either now or in the past? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Right now, though, I want to tell you about my good friend. Speaking about organization, I'm Warren Eckstein. Great calls coming in. We're going to get to you, Madeline, in just a bit, and then we'll get to you, Larry and Rosita, as well. But I want to talk about this for a second. I've been teasing all morning about this Today Show segment I did. I'm not going to get to the whole thing. That's just another reason you should go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Subscribe. I'll share that there probably this week sometime. But let me just give you the bottom line of the segment. Roker calls me up. Al Roker. He says, Warren, I want to do a segment on relationship rescue. We'll find people, tell people to write. They got hundreds and hundreds of letters from all over the country. Yeah, we want to come on. One of the panelists on there, her and her fiance came on together, and he had the dog for years and years. There was a German short-hair pointer for years and years before he even met this woman. Then they met, they started dating, they fell in love, they got together. They didn't live together, and the reason they didn't live together is because the woman would not even take the time to establish any type of relationship with the dog. Her fiance, this dog was her fiance's entire life. He loved this dog. This dog helped him through hard times, and yet, for no reason whatsoever, she said, I don't want the dog. I'll never get married with that dog. You got to get rid of the dog and get him out of the house. At which point I got a little, unlikely for me, a little PO'd. And I called her Mommy Dearest. Where's your hanger, lady? That's exactly what I said. I might have edited that part out. I got in trouble. But I really believe that. How can someone who pretends to love someone else so much not let that person have something in their life that's given them so much? I'll do the whole story. There was much more to the story, and to that I'll do it on my YouTube channel maybe this week, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Mommy Dearest got me in trouble. Gosh. Madeline, in L.A., what can I do for you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. I in response to the soulmate question, I adopted years ago my first dog, Ralphie. I adopted him from the North Shore Animal Clinic, I think, or Animal Center.
North Shore Animal League. You were living in New York. It was North Shore Animal League, Port Washington. I used to do all their behavior work. Yeah, it was actually, believe it or not, North Shore Animal League. North Shore Animal League, for those people that are old enough to remember a vacuum clean company called Shetland Lewitt Vacuum Cleaner, Lewitt of that company his wife started the North Shore Animal League in Port Washington many, many years ago. Actually, I think it's North Hempstead, Port Washington. I know the shelter's right around the corner from it. Good organization. So I'm glad you had Ralphie. So tell me about Ralphie.
So Ralphie was 4. I actually just went down there with a friend. And this Lhasa Apso, 4 years old, kept looking at me. And you know Lhasas have those big brown eyes. And I could not leave that dog in a cage. I couldn't do it. So I wound up adopting him. And I can understand why people gave him away at 4. And by the way, they gave me his records. He had 13 champions in his chart. He was really high-end, but he bit. But he didn't bite me. I mean, he really, it took me a little while, but, I fell in love with him. He fell in love with me.
So I just want to move you along here. So you had Ralphie, you adopted him. It took you a while to get along with each other, and you established this amazing bond. Is that the story?
Amazing, yeah, it was amazing, and I actually wrote a chapter book called Ralphie's Secret about him. So, he's still with me at that level. It took me many years to adopt and to get another. And I got another from like 4 months old, Skylar.
Yeah.
And I have, I want to tell you and your audience, you can love again. It
Listen. If you couldn't love again, I'd be in a lot of trouble with the hundreds and hundreds of animals I've lived with, and I love them all. I love them all. I love people, but I love animals. So, anyway, what a great story, Matt, and I'm so glad you had the opportunity. You know what? In the future, give me a call back in the future. I don't want to run out of time. We'll talk more. I'd love to get maybe have you read a paragraph from that book that you had written. Man, my listeners are the best. All right, let's go to Larry. I'm going to go to, what is Reseda taking over? What is Tom Petty in the audience somewhere? We're going to go to Larry and Reseda first, then we're going to go to Paul and Reseda right after that. But right now it's Larry. Hi, Larry. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. I always enjoy listening to your show. It's always uplifting. I just wanted to share my experience, about forming a symbiotic relationship with your dog.
Yeah.
2022 is a year I wish I just could delete. I lost my mother, and then 2 weeks later, I lost my daughter.
Oh, I'm so
it was brutal. It was just brutal. Oh. As my rabbi pointed out, it's like getting punched in the stomach twice.
Yeah.
My dog, Fiona, who is a German Shepherd, she somehow sensed my grief, and she just wouldn't leave my side. It was actually pretty hilarious. She tried to follow me into the bathroom occasionally. Yeah. But the point was that she sensed when I was having a moment, and she would just be glued to me, be glued to my side for support and so forth. And to this day, when she hears me laugh or something where my voice raises, she'll run over and make sure I'm okay. It's just astounding how these animals can sense things. Moreover, we seem to be on the same biological clock as far as getting up to go to the bathroom and so forth. She does it at the same time I do.
Wow, it must have been hard to stand her up and teach her to pee in a urinal, though.
I wish I could.
There's an old joke about that. I'll post that someday. But you're absolutely right. There's something, and I love people in my profession. Some people, but there's something that people often forget. They forget that other part of living or being part of a dog or a cat's life or other pet's life. It's more than this is my dog, this is my cat, and I love them, and you feed them, and you take the best. There's so much more that relationship is so. Here we have a situation. Listen, when I lost my wife Faye in 1990. 36 years old, and if it was not for Tig, the other animals helped me, but Tig was in my home with me at that time, and he did come into the bathroom with me. Wherever I went, he went with me. I wasn't eating, and sometimes I opened my refrigerator. My mother, who didn't far away, would throw something in the refrigerator, and Tig would go sit in front of the refrigerator saying, "Warren, listen, you know what? You lost like 40 pounds. Maybe you should eat something." Wow. There's just something so uninhibited about their feelings for us. I know I'm off the training aspect today, but there's just some feeling.
It's the unconditional love that everybody speaks about.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I talk about this, that my grandmother, I'm Romanian mostly, so my grandmother actually grew up not too far from Transylvania, and she's always instilled in me that there's so much more to reality than what reality is, and sometimes you have to kind of step out of your comfort zone and say, you know what, there is something special, there is something different, it's what a great story. First of all, the loss of that back-to-back loss in that short period of time. Thank God you had a rabbi to talk to at that point. But he was absolutely right. The dog
he's a great
knew.
Stand-up guy. She's Fiona's 12 now, and I know for a German Shepherd, she's getting near the end. She's still in great health. I look after her very carefully, but I'm not looking forward to her when I lose her. I'm just trying not to think about that and just trying to enjoy the time that I do spend with her.
But just remember what I've been saying. We never lose them. We never lose them. They may go somewhere else, but the spirit, the love. We are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Just a reminder, all these topics I wanted to get to today, go to YouTube, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. But let me do this. Let me see if I can go over to what a great call, by the way. That last call, just, lost two people that he loved that much and there was his dog. German Shepherds, they're very special. I was going to say, why don't you get a tattoo of the dog? I have one on my leg, you all know. But being Jewish, you can't have a tattoo. I'm Jewish and I have a tattoo. My mom said I could bury my leg in the veterans part of the cemetery. Let me go to Paul and Reseda. Hey, Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing, Warren? Thank you so much for what you do here on the show. So last week we lost Henry, 14-year-old German Shepherd, 130 pounds, gigantic boy, wonderful. We had him. We got him when he was a scrawny little, maybe 17 or 18-month-old from West Side down in downtown LA.
Sure, and well.
I never took a dog that old. He's the oldest dog I've ever had in my life. I'm almost 60 years old. My question to you is, we have two other dogs. I've talked to you about Mickey, my Great Dane, and then we also have Cubby, my little black lab, who was in a very bad situation when we rescued her, very bad situation as a puppy. We brought her into the house. She stuck to Henry like glue throughout her entire life. I can't really tell if she's like devastated by his loss, but my question is, I guess the timing. And I want to get another German Shepherd. I don't ever want to not have a German Shepherd in my house. So I want to get another one, but I just wanted to talk to you about timing with the other dogs. And
how long ago did Henry pass?
About a week and a half ago.
Yeah, you got to give it some time. Unless, in other words, there are situations behaviorally in the past where the dog was so devastated over the loss of his best friend that I initiated a relationship instantaneously. But it seems to me that Cubby and the Dane are kind of bonded with each other, not in the same way Cubby was bonded with Henry, but at least you need to give it some time because you need to go through the grieving process. And no matter how much you say you're not going to make comparisons, it's only been a week and a half, you're going to give it some time. I would give it a good couple of months. Unless someone at Westside calls you, and I love the people at Westside, my good friend Diane, just the most incredible person, and Pam, amazing people there. If they call you up and say, listen, we have this beautiful German Shepherd, gets along with all these dogs, why don't you bring Cubby and the other dog? Let's meet on neutral territory. And if that be the case, maybe it's the perfect relationship. Maybe it's meant to be. But you're going to have to kind of play it by ear till you find a situation where Cubby's feeling really comfortable with the new dog. But I would still give it a little bit of time, at least a couple of months at this point. You have to grieve, and so does Cubby.
And so you're saying the next one that we bring in, I shouldn't just bring a dog into the house, let Cubby go and they do an assessment first, like that kind of thing?
No, you should introduce Cubby to whatever dog you're potentially going to be rescuing and adopting, and see what the relationship is, and then work it from that relationship on. Just make sure it's done properly. Make sure there's no none of that nonsense. Introduce them on neutral turf, and you should be pretty much on target. God, people that have never been owned by a German Shepherd have no idea. That was my first dog. I always talk about my first dog, Smokey, was a German Shepherd that my father bought at Macy's on Long Island. Who knew? The Roosevelt Field, Long Island. Macy's had a pet department. And when I was growing up, I talk about this all the time. You either had a German Shepherd because you watched Rin Tin Tin, or if you didn't have a German Shepherd, you had a Lassie. You had a Collie because you watched Lassie. And if you're rich, you'd have a horse because you watched Fury and My Friend Flicker. So I wasn't rich, so I had a German Shepherd. Anyway, hey, Paul, keep me posted. Let me know how you're doing, okay?
Thanks, Warren. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
You have a great day. I appreciate the phone call. Guy, it's so the calls today have been so fascinating and just so interesting to me. I got a couple more topics I want to talk to you guys about, but let me do this. Let me take a break, and I want you to listen to this. I'm going to read a commercial for myself right now, but I want you to listen to me very, very carefully. There's a lot of information in this commercial, and I want to share it with you, so bear with me. I'm taking a break, Alex, by the way, just so you know, okay? Back on the Pet Show, I'm Warren Eckstein. So the question comes up, do your cats think you're their parents, or perhaps do cats view us as just other cats? Again, something I wrote be up on my YouTube channel. I know I'm pushing YouTube, but I'm telling you there's going to be some major changes, so you're going to want to be following me over at YouTube. It's free. I just think I'm going to be sharing a lot more stuff there. But anyway, let me share this with you. So it came up, do cats think humans are their parents? Cats do in fact form very strong attachments to their guardians, very often resembling the bond between kittens and their mothers. In fact, some behaviors like kneading or following us all over the place may stem from that instinctual connection. Plus, our talking to the cats kind of takes them back sometimes to the early days when mom would kind of purr to let them know that it was feeding time. So that's one approach. So do cats think humans are their parents? But there's another approach. Do cats think humans are cats? They just think we're other cats? Another thing I wrote. Cats don't necessarily see us as fellow cats in the literal sense. But in fact, they treat us as colony members. They groom us. They hunt for us. And sometimes even bring us gifts, like the not-so-appreciated dead mouse. These behaviors show a bond similar to how they interact with other cats or kittens, even using some of the noises they reserve for kittens on us. So the question comes up, do cats think that they're our parents, or we're their parents, or do cats think that we're just part of their cat colony? I don't have the answer to that. I think individual cats think indifferently. But here's my opinion. Having worked with thousands and thousands of cats and listening to you, I learn more from you than you'll ever learn from me. I've kind of come to the conclusion that cats are so incredibly bright that they can make you think whatever they want to make you think. If they want to make you think that you're the parents, that's how smart cats are. You know, one of the quotes at the beginning of my cat book is, in the beginning, God created humans, but seeing them so feeble, he created the cats. Just a reminder, check out youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I know I'm pitching it, but I'm pitching it. Doesn't cost you anything. I don't make any money on it, but I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff there. I don't want you to miss out on that. Also, go to the website. Some great info there. thepetshow.com. And if you haven't watched a podcast called Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, my nephew, that's also on my YouTube, as well as the website. Some people say, Warren, you shared a little too much information there. Maybe I did, so check that out. Until next week, though, you know what to do. I'll give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you, one between the ears. By the way, the number for the network, 877-725-8255. You can start calling right now. Have a great week. Give all your pets a big hug and a kiss.